Well, good morning everyone and welcome back to the cabin. I'm actually on the interstate today. We're heading up to Northeast Tennessee to visit with a good friend and someone that I have really come to like, Nathan from Out of the Woods. So if you haven't checked that channel out, be sure and go check it out. I've mentioned it a couple of times, guaranteed that you'll like it. Anyway, we're going to go up here and kind of hang out with Nathan today and kind of pick his brain about some of the things that he's got going on. I'll tell you what, folks, Nathan is got a setup that he's able to take a log from out of the woods, no pun intended, and run it through the equipment that he's got, that he's acquired, like planers and joiners and things of that nature, and basically come out the other end with material to be able to accomplish whatever project that he sets out to do. So I'm going to go up there and be like a kid in a candy store and kind of pick his brain about the setup that he's got going on up there and just check out everything. And I imagine that I'm going to learn quite a bit when I get up there and we start picking his brain, like I say. Anyway, we're not too far away, so y'all be sure and stay tuned, and I'll check back with you when we get there. Okay guys, I told you that it wouldn't take too long to get up here. I clocked it. I left at about 10 minutes after 8.
About 45 minutes then?
About 45 minutes.
Ain't too bad.
No. Anyway, up here, this is Nathan, like I said. If you haven't went and checked out his channel, be sure and go check out Out of the Woods, because I guarantee you that you'll like it. So we're just up here, like I was telling you, on the way to be able to hang out with him, kind of pick his brain. You don't charge too much, do you?
No. It's you know, if you bring coffee, I'll take coffee as well. So we do bartering up here. So we're real big on coffee in this area. Real big on coffee.
Anyway, we're gonna kind of hang out with him a little bit and kind of pick his brain about everything that he's got going on up here.
And that should take about 30 seconds.
Listen. After watching his videos, I guarantee you that this man has got a wealth of knowledge of logging, the sawmill operation, all of the different pieces of equipment that I've seen that he's brought in, you know, on video. So I'm excited to be here to be able to pick his brain. I think I've got enough money to be able to pay for the tips and the tricks that he might lend our way. So we'll see if I have to pull out the credit card before I leave. But
and there's one thing you didn't mention. Don't move. So my biggest specialty is cats.
Now this one's cabbage, right?
This is cabbage. So any cat questions, post them down in the comments. I'll answer them later. Good guy right there.
And you've got how many?
We got 5 that we claim, but if they come here, you know, they come here and they're hungry, we feed them. So
that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, you got a hat just like mine, don't you?
Yeah, not today. Bruno took it to school, so yeah, I'm without a hat today. And
you know, I'm
without my coffee. You finish up, I'll be right back.
I'm hoping that when I grow up, that I'll look just like him, because he's sporting that backwoods or out of the woods, no pun intended.
Yeah.
Beard got going on there, so this is part of my new mountain man look.
Don't put it on your t-shirts or your stickers, because then you're stuck with it forever. It's on the shirts and the stickers, and now it's just, you know, it's like Samson, you know, better not cut the hair. So.
Well, guys, happy to be up here in these rolling hills in Northeast Tennessee, and did we mention it's going to be hot today?
That's why you drink hot coffee.
Yeah.
Might as well be hot inside and out.
We're going to go around to some of the different buildings and shops that he's got up here and check out his equipment. The one thing that I really want to check out is the sawmill. So I'm be excited to see that LT70 that he's got. So y'all stay tuned, and I will we'll just kind of migrate from place to place and just, like I said, pick his brain and see what he's got going on up here.
All right, let's go look.
You know, I've mentioned that we're going to try to, or maybe I haven't mentioned this on camera, but we're going to try to upgrade a little bit, because I think the tractor that I've got is a little bit too small. This is Nathan's 574. This is your middle tractor, isn't it?
Yeah, I got 3 T-Wames. This is the middle one. If you go by horsepower ranking, this is the one in the middle.
Okay. I'm going to look this thing over because this looks like the size that we could probably use. I think you said that it would lift 2,700 pounds
at full height.
At full height.
Yeah, yeah. But if you're lifting logs, you can get them up a few inches. You can lift a lot more weight than that. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, guys. Now this is really, really nice. There is a lot of room. I guess man could even build some supports up here where he could.
If you want, yeah. Around here we like to stay pretty busy though. We don't put our feet up till about 10 o'clock at night there. I don't know what you guys do down there. But yeah, it's I tell you, for the size of the cab, it's pretty impressive. The cab is about the same size as the bigger tractor. It's a lot of room in there.
Tell you what, guys, this is a nice tractor right here. It's got all kinds of gadgets on the inside. I don't even know what some of these are for. This one's a hydrostat, where mine's actually a manual. But, oh my goodness, it's even got a Kenwood stereo in it.
Yeah, Bluetooth, AC, USB chargers.
Wow.
Plenty of cup holders for multiple coffees if you drink a lot of coffee like I do. And it's got everything you want in a tractor. It's pretty nice. It's Cadillac.
It is really, really nice. I'm going to have to talk to those boys up there in Oneida, which is, I think, where you got this, right?
Yeah.
Oneida, Tennessee. Going to have to talk with them about getting something like this for the homestead, because I think that this would do exactly what we need, be able to lift the logs up, set them on the sawmill, and it's small enough that I could probably operate it on the side of the mountain up there, because I don't have
your only concern would be the cab and limbs.
Right.
Since you're in the forest.
Right.
That's the thing you'd have to watch out for.
But, you know, we could just spend a little extra time cutting a road in there.
Yeah, that's true.
To be able to get to them. Of course, a lot of the logs that I've been getting lately have been just cut and delivered to me. I've been paying $100 a load, and I get 10 good-sized logs that are, 18, 20 inches in diameter. And I can't hardly afford to even cut my own for that price.
Yeah, I'll get his number before you leave.
Oh, okay. All right. But yeah, this would be ideal for the homestead up there. You got doors on both sides that you can exit. And oh man, this is a Cadillac. It really is. So this will be something that I will be looking at in the very near future. Well, guys, we're checking out his chicken coop right here, and I'll tell you, he's really did a nice job on this. He's got 12 chickens in here, and some of them have got the feathers on their feet, and you call them what?
Snowshoes.
Snowshoes.
Yeah.
He's actually got a black one that's got the feathers on the legs, but a little bit harder to tell.
Yeah, they have there's a correct scientific name, I'm sure, for that breed, but I have no idea what it is. I just call them snowshoes.
But they're not too far away from laying eggs.
I believe 4 weeks is if my research has been correct. I think 4 weeks until we start having eggs. Hopefully. They like you. Look here. Coming right up to you.
He's got an electric or solar powered fence charger right here that he's got a wire run along the bottom, and I assume that that's for varmints.
Yeah, coyotes mainly.
I'm standing here kind of looking at his garden, so let's go back here and see if we can pick his brain a little bit about how he raises his garden.
We can definitely pick some weeds.
Alright guys, we're up in his garden now, standing in front of all of the beans that he's got growing here.
Yeah, these are October beans, or bush beans rather.
But he's got cabbage, he's got cucumbers, tomatoes, he's got sunflowers behind the camera there.
Yeah, we'll let the chickens eat those when they're matured up.
Yeah, I'll show you that here in just a second. Now, one of the other things that I think that he has done here, he has got cardboard laid out in the rows where you walk, and the cardboard is deteriorating. So at the end of the harvest, you just come through and you just till all that back into the soil?
Till it in, either the fall or the spring.
Okay.
It really, I mean, it depends on when I want to get on the tractor, I guess, and have a good day. Because tilling's pretty fun in that tractor.
But it helps to maintain the moisture content in
yeah, it's organic material. It breaks down. It's soil health. And I've learned over the years people have trouble with plants, and I'm no expert gardener or nothing. This garden is full of nothing but rabbit manure from the previous owner, so I got kind of lucky on that. But I've learned over the years, if you instead of babying your plants, if you really put all your effort into your soil, it will take care of everything else. Wood chips in your chicken run make a difference. You put them in your chicken run, and their manure and their scratching and digging will break all that down. Then a few times a year you go in there and get all of them out with just a snow shovel, and then put new ones in.
As I promised, Nathan had to remind me. He said, hey, you need to show them sunflowers because you promised it to him. And I did. But these are the sunflowers that he's growing for the chickens to be able to eat the seeds. That's something else that I might take a look at growing and be able to feed mine, because I don't think that there's a whole lot to it. Basically, you know, you plant it, and these are some really nice plants growing right there, and with all of the seeds that you can get from it, I believe the chickens would be really happy. This is the Wood-Mizer LT70. This is the machine that Nathan operates, and I'll tell you what, it is a beast. Compared to mine, it is probably twice as long.
20, I think from the hitch to the very end, I think it's 26 feet.
Wow.
Something like, you could do a 20-foot log on it.
I've got a 16 horse motor on mine. Mine's gasoline. He's got a 55 horse diesel.
Yeah, Yanmar diesel.
A Yanmar diesel sitting up there on top driving this whole outfit, and about a inch and a half blade, inch and a quarter.
Inch and a half, an old 55 Fitness. I get those blades from Joe Main down. Oh, I thought it was my video for a second.
Well, you have to walk off. Y'all recognize that right there?
Yeah.
But this is the Joe Main Silver Tip Turbo.
Everybody knows that.
Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
That he's running on this machine. If you'd like to get those blades, you'll find the link down in the video description, right?
Joe's cell phone number.
Joe's cell phone number.
Yeah, Joe's
but I tell you what, I mean, just to watch this thing run is, I tune in a lot on the videos just to watch him run his sawmill, you know, because after I get up there on mine and I'm having to manually turn everything, you remember those days, right?
Yeah, I had a manual mill. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, this is just, it's fun to watch this thing work.
It's even funner to run it.
It's even funner to run it.
Yeah, and I have so the hydraulic speed was what makes this mill exceptional. And I only got it cut to 40% of maximal speed. So this thing, when you see this thing run on the videos, it's not even running half as fast as it could actually. Yeah, I got it cut down.
I tell you what, this is an awesome machine. He can turn the logs. He can actually lift up and level his logs out. Everything is hydraulic. He lifts them up on the platform. Everything is done by this machine right here. It's got laser levels on it to be able to, or lasers to be able to see where you're going to be cutting at. It's just got everything that you can think of. There's no place to set your iced tea, though, is there?
I put the coffee back here on the side. The only thing it doesn't do is it doesn't stack the lumber because it saws it so fast. If you don't have somebody working with you, you'll have to stop to stack the boards. So they pile up on that receiving table right there faster than you can stack them. I mean, they just do one at a time.
I'll tell you what, though, that is some nice cutting.
Yeah, it does a good job. 1x6 pine right there, and it does a good job. It's a good sawmill. It's fast.
And if you were going to buy something like this and put it in your shop, what kind of price are we looking at?
I think between 80 to 90 as far as the price tag. And I've had mine since almost a year now on this model, and the way things have went up on prices, I don't know what a new one would cost right now. And it would probably take a year to get one. Yeah.
So you're looking at close to $100,000 to be able to get an outfit like this. Of course, it could be a moneymaker too, couldn't it?
Oh, absolutely. This thing, yeah, it's made this. If you got somebody catching your board, you can saw several thousand feet a day. And if you think about sawing 2,000 feet of maybe walnut a day, on the low end right there is $16,000 once you kiln dry. So
wow,
it's a big investment. It looks like a lot of money on paper, but if you have a good market for the lumber, a good supply for your logs, and knowledge on what you're doing, it's a career, you know, easily. This hydraulic clamp is the best thing about the hydraulics. Because I could always use a tractor to load logs, that's not a problem. Turning them, the clamp can actually turn them as well. But that clamp right there is so powerful. I mean, if the log falls here, I can go under it and pick it up and pull over. It's very powerful. Very well thought out machine.
And honestly, seeing it on video doesn't really do it justice until you're standing here right beside it to see everything that it's got and the capability that it's got.
It's a big machine.
Wow.
All right, Patrick, if you're watching there, pal, I'm sure you are, Richard needs one of these. So apparently Richard has a business partner in his YouTube venture, being his son, and they go over purchases before they buy them, such as I think your new quad, not your quad, but your side-by-side. Stuff like that. You talked about you and your son making those decisions before you buy stuff like that. This right here, Patrick, is something you need. It's a Stihl MSA 200C battery powered chainsaw. If you have a sawmill, you need a battery powered chainsaw. Here's why. Number one, well, two reasons. Number one, it's a lot of fun. Number two, if you need to make a cut, you don't pull a cord to start it. You grab it, you cut, you keep sawing, and conserve fuel. Kind of expensive, but really nice to have. So Patrick, your dad is actually telling me to do this. So hopefully this will work, but you need to get one of these there, buddy. Look at there.
Yeah, so Patrick, if you're watching, your dad is eyeballing the new battery-operated Stihl chainsaw.
There you go. Buy once, cry once, pal, I'll tell you. It's worth the money to have this.
Well, folks, I think I found his honey hole over here. He was telling, I mean, look at these saws right here. Isn't that a beautiful saw? This is one to rip with, actually. He's got other saws. He was telling me that a shop teacher from New Jersey actually redid all of these and send them to. Did he send them to you?
I bought them.
He bought them.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, he's got all kinds of hand saws here, chisels, and he said something about if I got ready to do another timber frame, he'd love to bring his chisels down and help me out, because he really likes working on those. And I'll tell you what, it's a lot of fun to use tools like this. He's got a nice draw knife right here. The spoke shave that he's got, I'm really envious of right here. He said he loves his spoke shave. That's something that I need to get. But you know, just the ability to be able to use old vintage hand tools like this and to basically end up with the same product that when you're using battery operated tools. So if we ever lost power, didn't have the ability to charge up batteries or something like that, and you had the know-how and the skill to be able to use these tools, you could end up with the same product and actually probably have a whole lot more fun doing it. Anyway, yeah, I happened to notice this and I thought, oh, there's his honey hole, because things like this really attract my attention, these old vintage hand tools. But yeah, he's got quite a collection going on here. Just happened to notice when I walked in here, I wanted to show you guys those light strips that he's got. These are LED, they're what, 6 foot long?
8 foot.
8 footers.
8 foot.
He's got 1, 2, and then he's got some shorter ones in here. And I'll tell you what, now this is daytime, but I can just tell standing here that how bright those things would be at night. Now, where did you get those? What do they cost? And any kind of info on them?
Amazon 8 footer, 6 in a pack, 120 bucks. you can tail them together as well. So you just have one outlet to plug them into, then you can keep hooking them together.
And they probably don't use much power at all.
No, I think you can put 24 on a 20 amp breaker. Yeah.
That's what I would be looking for because of having to use the battery packs like we do.
Yeah, and I do have the battery. There's the EcoFlow. I do have the battery packs as well because they're saying this summer rolling power outages. I'm reading that all the time.
I know. So, folks, if you've got the ability to be able to get a battery pack like this one he's got right here, or some of the ones that you've seen up here or up at our place at the homestead, it might pay to get something like that, because if you did have a power outage, my sister is without power a whole lot. She's actually on the grid across the street, and not only during the summertime, just because it gets so hot sometimes, it seems like the power goes out even when it gets really, really hot.
Well, all these people are amping up their air conditioners.
Yeah.
It puts too much stress on the grid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or just storms that we get a lot. She'll be without power. She'll see me the next day, or she'll call me and she'll say, well, I don't guess you knew the power was out last night, did you? Because I've got my battery banks, you know, and I recharge them up there at her house. And I said, no, I had no idea that the power was out. Well, I didn't have any TV. I didn't have nothing last night. But yeah, I mean, if you've got the ability to have a backup battery, a generator, or any means to be able to supply yourself with enough to at least keep your refrigerator going, maybe have a light or two or something like that, where your food doesn't spoil and you can get around to see until the power comes back on. That might be something that you would look at doing, because like he said, you know, we're already hearing tales of what do you call them, rolling outages?
That's what I've read about. Yeah, and if you do buy one of these, get the solar panels, because if the power's out and that thing's out, you gotta have a way to charge it.
Right.
It becomes a boat anchor at that point.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what, folks. Now I can promise you this, and he's got the same. The EcoFlow line of products is a really good, high quality piece of equipment, because never has my EcoFlow ever failed to charge from 0 to 100%.
Oh, I run power tools on that thing before.
Yeah.
And this is not sponsored by EcoFlow.
Right. But we both have the same type of equipment, and I can tell you that it is well worth it, because I've never had any issues with the EcoFlow line of products. In this timber frame, now it's not finished yet, but it is a work in progress. But I'll tell you what, he's done a really nice job on the joinery that he's got here. And this is white pine?
White pine, yes sir.
Okay.
This is that ladder out of the way so we can see everything. White pine is the dominant species in the whole building. I do have black walnut for my braces right here, and that really bothered a lot of people that I used walnut for that, but I have plenty of walnut here.
Let me kind of show you folks what he's talking about.
Yes.
These.
Yeah, right here is black walnut. This timber frame was without a roof for several months. That's why it's weathered and turned gray. I plan on eventually sanding these down so it looks like walnut again, then putting some oil over these, and it will look a lot better. But this is black walnut and white pine everywhere else, and this is that way of burning wood that we like to do here. I think Richard does it as well. Excuse me there, I'm terrible with names sometimes. And it's called starts with an S, and every time I pronounce it, somebody says I'm doing it wrong, so I just say it starts with an S, you burn the wood. And so we did that on all of our joinery and all of our beams, and I think it looks pretty good. And I used hickory pegs as far as what holds in the tenons right there, hickory pegs.
Now, we don't want you to get anything confused, because everything behind this is national forest.
Yeah, don't go over here.
Yeah.
You can't go back here. They'll get you every time. I had a buddy up north in Michigan. I think he had a friend that was a park ranger, retired, gave him some old memorabilia from some parks, and sent that down here to me. I hope that's legal to have. If it's not legal to have, this is not the original. This is just a fake one. So
just a copy, right?
Yeah, it's not the original one. Yeah, but anyway, it's pretty neat there. This right here is our newest piece of equipment. This is a hammer felder jointer planer combo machine. 16 inches on the width. The main reason I got this machine was not because it's a planer, because I have two planers, but it's because of the jointing capability right here. It's a facer or a jointer, that's pretty much the same thing. If you're not familiar with that term, Google it, he'll tell you all about it. So it does 16 inches on the width. That's the main reason I got it. Nowadays, to get a jointer that does anything over 8 or 12 inches is pretty expensive. And this one right here is actually pretty affordable. It's made over in Austria. It took it about 6 months to get here. But this is a really nice machine. I'm not a professional woodworker, but this same machine is used by a high-dollar professional woodworker, friends of mine over in Iowa and different places. And this is their go-to machine for all their milling. I just actually turned it on for the first time yesterday and ran some walnut through it. But when you want to use the planer, you pull these levers, this table will come up, and the planer is on the bottom right there. I'll probably never use it though. The main reason is for the jointer, and it does have, if you'll bring the camera in, we'll show them this fancy cutter head on here. That's pretty quiet. I can talk to Richard here about what he's going to cut me while I come down to this place, and you can still probably mill a piece of wood. So, motor size for you guys that are interested is 4 horsepower. 4 horsepower. So here's a piece of black walnut. This is 4/4. I ran this last night. That's the first board that's ran over that machine. That's why it looks so brand new. You can see the finish it puts on it.
I'll tell you what, and it is so smooth.
Limited sanding on something like this. It's ready for a project. Alright, this is the back room of the timber frame, and this is our Moulder. This is a 4-sided Moulder. Look over the mess. It's also a catch-all for all the construction going on here. We're putting in lights, outlets. I'm building my bandsaw over here, and this is a nice flat surface to set stuff. But this is a Wood-Mizer MP260. It's a 4-sided Moulder. If you're not familiar with that, I can put a board through this machine. It will plane all 4 sides on one pass. You can also make flooring with this, shiplap, log siding, crown molding, anything you could think of, you could pretty much make with this machine if you have the correct cutter knives. The max capacity is 12 inches on the width, and as long as you can fit in here to fit through it, it just keeps running. A really good machine, and my main goal with this machine, getting it, was to make flooring for my house, and also to make flooring for this shop to get off as concrete eventually, and make shiplap walls. That's why these walls are unfinished. We're going to be running some pine through the kiln, then run through this machine and make our own shiplap.
Did I not tell you that he was set up for everything from A to Z? I mean, just the not only the variety of equipment that he's got, but the quality too of the equipment, because none of this stuff is off-brand cheap machinery that he's got. So, and it's all really rugged and well built. Of course, you know, Wood-Mizer, you know, they're not going to build anything cheap.
And it has its own chip collector as well. So it has 4 dust ports that come out of it for each cutter. It goes up there to the collector, then that shoots out the side of the building and just into a big pile.
Impressive, very impressive. Let me show you this bandsaw that he's working on around the corner here.
So this is one of the newest machines. I got this a few weeks ago. It's a Powermatic bandsaw. My old one burned up. It's still being assembled. I've not even taken the cause blade off the cast iron yet. That's why it looks kind of dirty. That's a protecting film that the factory puts on there so it doesn't rust. It's a 14-inch, but it did come with the riser block. I got that installed also. But this is just another piece of my I guess my plan for being totally sustainable for my wood business here. And a bandsaw is something you gotta have. I wish I had a bigger one, but this is I think a 1 3/4 horsepower, and the larger ones are on back order actually. This is the biggest one I could find at the current time. So maybe a year from now things will get caught up and I can get a 2 horsepower model. I don't know. Now this is the workhorse of the wood shop, I guess you would call it. This is our 20-inch Grizzly 5 horsepower helical head planer. Helical head meaning the same kind of head we saw in the hammer machine a few minutes ago. Very good planer. It's a production planer. You can run this thing all day and it doesn't want to stop eating wood. And it's really the center point of my shop. A lot of people say the table saw is. I find myself using this planer right here more than I would a table saw. So this right here is a great machine. It's got a dust collector right here behind it. That's the Harbor Freight dust collector. That's one of the best things a Harbor Freight makes is their 2 horsepower dust collector. They ran them on sale the other day. And that box over there, Richard's another one.
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you, that's one of the best things they make. You can run those things for years, they'll never burn up. But every shop needs a planer, and if you can get a 20-inch wide planer, that's the way to go. I would rather have a 30-inch planer, but at that point you need 3-phase. And in my neck of the woods, 220 is about as good as you can do.
Folks, you've probably seen this in my back pocket, but he actually gave this to me. This is a hatchet handle that came from the Amish?
Amish up in Ohio. My friend Chris Killinger, he does a lot of axe handles, a lot of stuff in Ohio, a lot of leather work, and he sells those axe handles. They're made by the Amish in Ohio, like I was saying, and that's actually #1 hickory with the proper grain orientation for a hatchet handle.
You see
he also put a wedge on the end of it there.
Yeah, you see what he's talking about the grain?
Yeah.
Okay, it's running straight down the handle. It doesn't veer off, which gives it a lot more strength. And then he actually put that big wedge right there along with it.
So one good thing about that handle is you can feel it. No varnish. If you buy an axe handle that has varnish on it, get rid of it. That's what causes blisters.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you're watching, my neighbor, Lynn, okay, we're going to be heading in your direction because we're going to want to forge out a nice bearded axe hatchet head to go on this brand new hickory handle that's made, like he said, by the Amish up in Ohio. So I'll be heading up to visit my neighbor not too long from now to talk to him about this nice handle that he gave to me, and see if we can put together a video where we actually forge out a bearded axe head for this hatchet, because they always come in handy, especially if you're trying to fashion different things. You know, a bearded axe is really nice to have. Lynn, I'll be coming to see you shortly, buddy.
I'll take one too, Lynn. Now this machine right here is something that people ask me about all the time. Does I see it on my channel, and it's yet to be assembled, and it will be assembled hopefully sometime this summer. This is a Wood-Mizer double blade edger, and it's actually got a conveyor that goes on it and outfeed tables. It's actually 16 feet long. And if you think about a board with bark on it on the sides, a little bit of wane, you send it through this. It's got 2 circle saw blades that run at the same time, at the same speed, at different widths, and that will clean up your board, take the bark off. Hence why they call it an edger. But since I've got gas, I can't put it in here because of the fumes, and due to supply chain issues, it may be a 1.5 years before the electrical ones are actually built. So I need to build another building, it looks like.
Well, you know, I was telling Nathan that I don't mind a bit in the world to throw some tools in the back of the truck, because it's not that far up here, about 45 minutes to an hour, and I can be here to help him, you know, with whatever I can, because, you know, many hands make light work, and that's the way people used to do, is help one another. So
it's funny you mentioned that. I started a list last night when you told me you was going to do that.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, we got a busy week. We got a busy day actually.
Oh, okay. Well, didn't come prepared today. That's not.
Well, I got gloves. You're in good shape.
That's not an excuse, but no, I tell you what, Nathan is doing a whole lot of what we're doing up there, and that's working with wood. And I'll tell you what, it's a lot of fun, and it would be, you know, just as easy to throw my cameras and tools in the back of the truck and come up here and help him to knock out some of this stuff that he's got going on. Because I'll tell you what, folks, this timber frame, he's going to have a really nice building when he gets this done. And just to be able to set up all this equipment and to be able to run that wood through there and come out the end with a really nice product is just something that interests me. And, you know, be able to learn a whole lot from him because of the knowledge that he's got on a lot of this different stuff right here would help me, you know, in furthering the infrastructure on the homestead up there. So I have, you know, enjoyed being here, learning a whole lot, especially about the equipment that he's has purchased, you know, and is accumulating along the way. It's just, you know, being able to get it all set up, get it under roof, and up and operational. But I'll tell you what, he's going to be really set up to do what he needs to do once he gets all this stuff put together and gets it ready for, you know, production.
So the sawmill is the corner of our business, but there's something else that's almost as important as that. That's outside here if you want to look at it.
Sure.
It's a chamber, the kiln unit, the fans, it's a total package right here, and it will dry 4,000 board feet of hardwoods at a time or 2,500 board feet of softwood such as pine. Right now I got about 1,500 board feet of black walnut in there. It's 5/4 and mostly 8/4. There is some 4/4 in there as well. It was air dried to 15%. And I think it's probably just about done. It's about 125 degrees in there right now. So even though this kiln is completely automated, it has a touchscreen controller. It will email me with problems. When it comes to the bare bones of it, you go around the back and there's a little 5-gallon bucket. That's where the water comes out that comes out of your lumber. And I think we should have some water in that bucket if we go back here and look. So the water that comes out of the lumber from the kiln goes through a compressor and it comes out this hose, and it's as simple as that. It goes into a 5-gallon bucket, and that way you can monitor how much moisture is being removed from your lumber per hour, or more ideally per day. So this kiln is pretty impressive on the size of it. When you come to my property and you turn from the main road, you see this, and it really doesn't do it justice to get near it. It's a massive door.
I mean, look at this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm up here on top of the slab. I'm 6'2". I think the doors are 12 feet tall, I think.
And they're about that thick.
Yes, heavy doors.
Very well made. Again, another very well made piece of equipment he's got. He hasn't cut any corners with the equipment that he has purchased and is accumulating to be able to set his operation up. I'll tell you what, just standing here and after seeing it on video, it is massive and it is very well constructed. Well, guys, I want you to look at what Nathan has done for us. This is some hickory that he couldn't use in a log because it basically blew out in the middle.
Every bit of it.
Yeah, so it reduced it to nothing more than firewood. But hickory burns really good, and it provides a really good flavor for smoking meat. Now this fall when we go to harvest that hog, I do have plans which I may start this pretty soon, sooner than later. But that's building a small, like 4x4 building up on the bank. I'll dig a ditch down to where I can actually build a fire. We'll put a flue down in the ditch, cover it up with dirt so that we can actually build a fire at the bottom of the bank. The smoke will rise up the bank, go into the bottom of the smokehouse, and basically just kind of filter out any of the cracks that, you know, happen to be there or whatever. But that way we can actually smoke, you know, meat. There's different ways of preserving it, you know, but I like a good smoked meat, so we will be able to, you know, like I said, hang some in there and use this nice hickory that he has provided to be able to smoke that meat. So we appreciate that very much, Nathan. We offloaded the pallets that he was interested in, and I told him that if he needed more, he knows where he can get them because I had picked up 92 of them. But you can always use a pallet for something. But yeah, that's really nice to be able to get my hands on some hickory firewood right there for the smoking. We appreciate that very much. How much is it going to cost me to get out of here?
Well, the next time you do that truckload of logs, just bring it over here and keep bringing them, and I'll let you know.
Okay, we'll keep bringing logs until we pay back the debt that all the knowledge that we have got here today from Nathan on not only, you know, the small farm that he's got going on here and the garden and his ability to be self-sustainable, but also all the equipment, the woodworking equipment that he's got to work with. I'll tell you what, guys, if you had what he's got right here, I know that all neighbors would be very envious of the nice quality toys that he's got to be able to work with. It is a really, really nice setup. And Nathan, we appreciate you a whole lot on the videos. Like I said, guys, be sure and go check out Out of the Woods if you haven't, because I guarantee you that you'll like it. He's all the time giving tips and using the sawmill and talking about that and I know that when he gets the other building put together, you know, y'all will be able to get a wealth of information from all of the different tools that he's got that he's going to be working with. Anyway, I'm going to get loaded up, head back to the outpost so that I can get this video edited and get it out to you guys Monday. But I've really enjoyed myself being up here, and we look forward to you coming down to the cabin so that we can throw some steaks on the outdoor kitchen grill.
Absolutely.
And cook them up for you.
Sooner than later. You can have the firewood, you can't take the cab.
Okay. Yeah. Hey guys, we thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out with us. Thanks for coming with me up here to Northeast Tennessee and hanging out with Nathan from Out of the Woods. We hope that each and every one of you have a fantastic day. You all take care, and we look forward to seeing you back up at the cabin again next time.